not enough to do anything else. The toilets have broken down. The central sewage system was leaking. There was no sewage pouring around the corridors of the village. And as cement someone will tell you that it was common, it was quite common, the rule rather than exception, to have a case postponed 4 or 5 times before you could do a simple approach to me. I had a choice to cry, like everybody will cry. I had a choice to do something, and at the end of 5 years, people will praise me, but the way he did his best. But I had a choice to believe in the passion of what I always believed in. And I'll tell you what. You see, when I was a young consultant, it shook me one night that I could save all women in this world as an obstetrician. And I was a very passionate obstetrician. For those who remember who were around, some of you probably were my children and you were probably delivered them, for all I know. I was very passionate. It took me one night to recognize that more people die from poor administration than from poor doctors. Poor administration than from poor doctors, or incompetent doctors, or incompetent nurses. And it was to me an epiphany. I stood up and I said, I realized the women that have died in our world over the last 4 months. And I realized that over 75% of them didn't need to die. And nothing to do with the fact that the hospital didn't have first-class machines. It's just to do with simple things like oxygen, ventilators, proper IV line, blood. This is what we want for. And so, when I found myself having the power to further appoint chief medical director, that was shocking. That was shocking. Some things I say here will shock you, but they are true, unfortunately, or fortunately, because you will carry. Because when I was a young chairman of NDP, the minister for health, Dr. Musa, was a younger junior in medical school. In case you must know, Dr. Musa was my assistant business manager or doctor. Remember, that's why I started in the story. When I became business manager, my job now was to appoint who will come after me. And I looked back and front. Inside came from Calabah, nobody knew him, but I could see something in him. Funny enough, I could see something inside. And I called him and I said, you can't put me here. They will kill you as if I do the job. To my brilliant joy, 10 years after, inside was Minister for Health to the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And so, you can take that. It was virtually I that was not the minister. I was on Warren. We all know you, my secretary sat down. We made a list of all the senior colleagues. I read them in the order of what they felt to their competence. You know, as God is our witness, we never remember then who was Yoruba, Igbo, Bini, or Hausa. It took me, it was almost a year later, I remember, oh, NDA was not Isha. It never even occurred to us. And in any case, NDA was not even our first choice. Our first choice was Oduware, who said, I'm a young man, but I'm not interested in rules. I said, thank you, sir. Went to Prosecutor. And they didn't become chief medical director. And of course, when they became chief medical director, I found myself always going to discuss with him. He called them criticisms, you see. He said, you always come to criticize. No, sir. I think we should do this, we should do this. They smiled. And the one day, he said, I want to create a position called Deputy Chairman Medical Advisory Committee. I said, what's that supposed to be? You are creating bureaucracy again. Anyway, I hate bureaucracy. I can say, I'm actually, I hate bureaucracy. You're going to create a new position where you give me a car, give me secretary, give me a code, give me coffee. The hospital doesn't have the money for that. And I was so much against that creation. Xavier said, well, Eugene, you may have helped me get here, but you brought me here to support me, not to run the place. I'm asking you, since you are so good in making lists, make a list of those those who will be teaching in this. I said, okay. I said, well, I made a list. I gave it to him, walked out of the office, not happy at all. And said, okay, I was at the board meeting. And the end of the board meeting, they came to my house, because so around 8 p.m., came to the house laughing. I said, oh, okay, fine. So you have got your stupid position. Who is the man that you are going to give the car to? He said, give it to you. I said, sir, we become very good friends. You are not having it because you are having it. You are created yet from another position. This is why the new deputy chairman and the CEO of University of Education is one Dr. Prof Okpere. He has taken my name to be deputy chairman of a position I felt was a democratic waste of time. And he said, now you go and prove to yourself that it's a different issue from criticizing, and now it's your job to what? Passion for a job, passion for what you do, a passion for being a doctor. We must start with that. That way it all started. I don't know how many folks do it. I don't know if you felt I'm going to be a doctor because there's money there, or my father thinks I should be a doctor. Some must be there. We are lucky. We didn't have that problem. And so perhaps if I was to start my lecture, I would say it starts with the day I was born. And you will understand this. I lost my mother when I was 4 months old. I never met her. I spent the first 1 year with myself and my elder brother. He is a top chair guy too. In an orphanage, St. Camille's room. And so the first 2 years of my life that I remember was spent in the hospital. And I remember vaguely on a walk round with the doctors with a stethoscope around my neck. And they used to call me Dr. Eugene. My native people call me Obo. Obo, by the way, for those who are Asian, means doctor. I grew up knowing I will be a doctor. I didn't know how. I didn't know what I needed to do. But I concluded either I become an English doctor, or if they say I'm not intelligent enough, I will be a native doctor. A doctor I will be. I have no question, no difficulties with that. And I could go on and on. That passion to be a doctor is the reason why I was actually expelled from St. Paul's College from lower 6. Because the new principal felt I was a brilliant guy in the arts. Remember, I was the head librarian. I was good in literature. I was good in the arts. I could speak. I was the head better guy for St. Paul's College. If you needed a problem, call me. And he came one day to me, a young guy, probably 14, 15. He said, Eugene, you know, when you finish here, you will not beat about the bush here. We'll take you to Ohio State University in America, American University, where you're going to do the liberal arts. Young man, say, okay, you are going to have learned a lesson. See, but I was only 14. Of course, today, if you make that offer, I will say, oh, brother, thank you very much. May God bless you and guide you. Can I think about it? I was only 14. I laughed at his face. I said, what? What did you do with history? History? I'm going to be a doctor. That's all. The best of them all. The rest is history. At the end of upper 6, lower 6, he concluded I was too troublesome to remain in St. Paul's College. And expelled me, even I was number first in the class in SPC as well. Because the quarrel from that moment continued, as you can see, up to 4 or 5 years later. We never saw eye to eye. I was a young man who had learned my lessons. I would do it, I've done it better. I used to walk to his office in those days and tell him, brother, what I hear you are doing is not going to work. Me and my guys are going to write a letter just to inform you. Now, of course, you won't do that now with you. I was only 14, 15. It didn't matter as much that my father was a lawyer. I And he looked at, okay, fine, he thinks he knows. But all turned out well, funny enough. Because you see, when he sent me out of SPC Asaba, my father took me to some ICC Benin and took me to graduate John Donnelly, great guy, different kind of fellow, who said, oh, I hear that the troublesome fellow named Awale so. He said, no, you spoke? I said, I don't smoke. He said, no, you can smoke. When he spoke there. He said, use your beards, you try to remove that. No, in RCC you can keep your beards, but you need to share it. He said, I think you're very assertive. He said, yes. Well, here, if you're not assertive, I will expel you. You know, God is great. That was the best year in my life. Because SPC confined me. ICC allowed me to expand, to speak, and to get away with it. Of course, God is great. June of that year, the war broke out. All my classmates in Upper 6, who were from the Edo region, came to ICC. The ones that came from the east, unfortunately, quite a few of them died. The ones that came from my class to join me, they all failed their HSC. I was the only guy in my class to enter university that year because I was expelled from SPC. Now, there's a thing I keep on talking about. What do you believe in? If you're following me here, what do you believe in life? Because believe me, young men and ladies, if you don't believe in anything, I can't help you. Nobody can help you. If you're going to go through life as you're going through medicine, thinking that all you want to do is to be a doctor, make money, and the question is, money. You know, I get to say, those who seem to have made it do not respect it. So perhaps not. But then you see, even before I made it, or I didn't make it, I never had that respect for money. That didn't mean I was vigorous with expenditure. No. I was never. If I didn't have respect for medicine, I wouldn't have gone to Saudi Arabia to spend how many years? 7 years. I like the money. It's a legitimate money. They pay me well for my services, and I went to Saudi. On the day I was leaving, the guy called me. They were paying us then $4,500 a month. He gave me paper, my salary was $9,000 a month. Sign this paper for another 3 years. I told him, okay. I went to Saudi for 2 reasons. To build my house so that people will not say, yeah, this gynecologist will build me hot. I have built that house. I don't need any other thing when it comes to the worldly goods. I have a car, I can always replace it. I tore the paper, I came back home to earn then $200 a month. But I had no regrets. Till today, I have no regrets. You must believe in something. Eugene, I believe in Nigeria. This will shock you. I believe it's a great country. I don't have any doubt in my mind. I thank God I've inculcated into my children. What do you mean, my children? 4 kids. They are all in Nigeria. They will remain in Nigeria. They will suffer, they will stress, they will survive. I'll give them the best training. But they come home to your country. Oh yes, don't be too worried. Things are not even bad as I think they are. Forget about the living things. I was free. When I came out of that, it was sometimes they didn't have cars. They didn't have cars. I mean consultants. We're not talking about consultants. Today I think every house is flat. What you can do? Every house has a method of buying a car. He graduates, tells his father that UBK does not pay his salary. So his father keeps on paying his salary around.
give Prof another round of applause. A loud one. Greatest UBEMSA. Greatest UBEMSA. Articulate UBEMSA. Intelligent UBEMSA. Great. Let's give our Prof 3.5 goza. Goza. I'm gonna clap for Prof again. Those of us in this foyer today, we are all very lucky to have heard from Prof himself, his own testimony, not written by anybody. Today, I strongly believe that I want to leave here a very better person. Ladies and gentlemen, all what we heard from Prof today, they are very practical, they are very real, and they are spoken to us as a father. A father as a father in our medical practice, and a father in terms of leadership qualities. Prof, we are very grateful to you. Honestly, if one thing I'm going to take, or I think you should take, if it's because of money that you are doing this medicine, just go and buy change your phone. That's the truth. As a master of ceremony and a comedian, in a month I can earn, months where the tower will not be. Twice my salary, the tower will not be. I'm not saying the work, but I just do and say, this corporate body pay me 100K as a doctor at the form of hand. If not, if I really want to go for every job, then I can make 4 times my salary every month. So showbiz, other oil, you can make it, but medicine. So passion. Prof said something that he promised himself not to work out on any patient, and he must see every patient that comes to him. For me, that is the greatest thing I have paid for Prof, because by the time you start practicing, your colleagues will push you, they will get you angry not to see patients. The system will get you angry not to see patients. A lot of factors will get you angry not to see patients. If you walk where I walk now, fantastic government, hospital. So for him, and he has gone through all this and still came to that word, which means his own passion is very strong. As I was speaking, I was praying, Father God, double my passion to be like you. So Prof, thank you very much. In the end then, to the leadership aspect, he also taught us. Please, we should know these things and use them to better our lives. It couldn't have been this better. And we are very happy to UBEMSA. We are very grateful to the Ashanti Grant Foundation for putting this together. A lot of people, they invite Prof everywhere to lecture, to talk, but I don't think that they've ever had this good. And Prof is a great speaker. Most of the time, or most of the events are compared where Prof is a guest speaker or is the chairman of the occasion. No paper. When they come, just the can they give us, the flow. Finally, far away will become cock. Now when it's small, they didn't want. And you see Prof started from what? From the school. From the school. So if you go become cock tomorrow, start them down. Ladies and gentlemen, why Prof was actually some few minutes when he started this speech, one of our guest speakers walked in, a big name in Nigerian movie industry. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together and welcome this great ambassador from Edo State. who is so passionate about the Edo culture, about the Edo people, and about Nollywood and about Nigeria. Let's put our hands together and welcome Ambassador Lancelot Oduware Imasuen.
Good afternoon, sir. So you're very welcome to the program for today. So what was your topic for today?
I think it's related to leadership in the health sector and tips for the generation, the next generation, how the next generation will best harness their capacities and abilities to be leaders, true leaders, not like leaders of the past. That's what it's all about.
Okay, this is Dr. Okpere. He actually gave a very brilliant talk today concerning leadership and management in the health sector. So I want to ask, the government you see today is actually doing nothing. So this, we see that they're trying to do something, but in true terms, we've not been able to see some major evidence of what we've been doing in Nigeria as a whole. So what advice do you really think that the Nigerian government should do concerning the health sector in Nigeria?
Well, I think that we all grumble, but actually the government has done quite well for the health sector in Nigeria. A lot of people don't know that. I think part of the problem is that the federal government purview is essentially teaching hospitals, and the average patient in Nigeria obviously will go to primary health care centers and secondary health care centers, which are under state and local government. So when you talk of federal government as a government, I think we can honestly say, without fear of really being criticized, they've done quite well for the teaching hospitals. I mean, those teaching were regarded as mere prescribing centers. They are not. Virtually all the teaching hospitals today are virtually quite modern, with the environment projects and all the advantages that came with it. So the teaching hospitals have improved remarkably, and they are still improving. But I think the real problem is to do with the federal, with the local councils, the primary care centers, and the general hospitals, which are not under the federal government, and they are under another 55 governments, different concepts, different horizons, different thinking, and that's where the real problem is. If I were to pass some suggestion, I would say that we should actually not make health look like something you divide into primary, secondary, and tertiary. I think we should do what they've done in Europe and most European countries, make a comprehensive entity, wherein it is run by a body that, based on geographical entities, where you have like UBTTC with central hospital and the other central hospital under UBT, other primary, so under one body that runs the whole entity. And so the local councils do not have the capacity to run primary care centers, and yet we are giving them the bulwark of our healthcare to an organization, to a body that cannot run it. And I think we have to admit, for the moment, we really need to take the primary care centers off the local councils.
Thank you very much, sir. So that was brilliant. So one last question before I go. So I actually want to ask, what major advice do you have, based on your own life experience and the challenges you had, you're able to go through, and today you are a standard. So I actually want to ask, what advice do you have for the generation next?
Like I said in the lecture, believe in yourself, believe in what you are doing. Make sure your beliefs are not based on your own personal advantages. Make sure what you are believing in is there's an advantage for the common good. And the temporary setbacks you get really don't mean anything. Invariably you will get there. You have to believe in something and work towards it. That's the point.
Thank you very much, sir, for your time. Have a safe journey, sir. So that was Dr. Okpere. He was one of the speakers for today.
One over again on my way here. How can medicine be effective in Nigeria without institutional support? Like I told you, the Nigerian film industry has originated by itself and come thus far without any major institutional support by any institution, government, private, or otherwise. So how can medicine be effective in Nigeria without institutional support? We have to build a ground first before medicine can work. I want to say that today's medicine has been made ready for today's practitioner. Just like the animal discovered and determined food from other plants, your medical forebears have also determined what constituted medicine from non-medicine.
In this wise, we have a base. Platform to improve what select medicine is doing is improvement on the foundation your forebearer, Hippocrates, and his friends laid down. For the medical profession to successfully adopt and adapt the Nollywood example, there must be institutional change within the medical sector. The structure should be one that allows for heavy private investment in the medical industry, but not allow other worship of profit, which was a point that struck me from what the professor was saying. There is no way today you want to be a successful medical practitioner and put money first, which I also have here in my presentation. For heavy private investment in the medical industry, but not allow other over-worship of profit to override whatever decision and passion might have. If profiteering gets into the profession, then medicine is dead. Nollywood in these formative years was driven by men who actually wanted to make profit. And if you have followed the industry, you see the up and down that it has had all this while. The Nollywood example suggests a never give up attitude towards work, no matter the level of criticism and discouragement and failure. In this never give up attitude, you have also the doggedness to achieve through a process that will allow you to do what you love. You will have to find men and women who are passionate and want to explore the wonders of medicine. I would love you to take a pool and you will be astonished to find how many are pushed into this course by their parents. You will find a greater percentage of you who are doing it because your parents wanted you to be a medical doctor. If you have many that are not in this with the right attitude for the right reasons, there isn't much that can be achieved. That is the main point I really want to work on. When I started as a filmmaker, there was no business called filmmaking in Nigeria, but something was just there and pushing us on. We just wanted to be artists that will express ourselves through the medium of filmmaking. You have to have a passion whose fire cannot be gouged. You will find out that even the industry will not pay your bill. The professor talked about that very well. That's how to identify passion. We know that when what pushes you is just the love for it. Today, artists in Nigeria, filmmakers in Nigeria can afford to drive whatever kind of vehicle they want to drive. They can live in whatever mansion they want to live in. But when we started, this was not the drive, this was not the goal. Suddenly, things are turning around because passion can drive you to a point when you begin to benefit from whatever input that you put into life. For Nollywood, we were and we are still on the right track. We applied what was available to get the desired. People apply their opportunity and Nollywood blossom in the eyes of the world. Like I said before, when we used to send our movies to world festivals, no, they send our videos. But today I sit in my house and I get calls from all over the world, major film festivals in the world, calling for my movies to be watched. Whether they like it or not, the consistency, the passion with which they have driven this industry has kept it on global, giving it global attention. Be it in the US, be it in Canada, wherever in the world, beyond the blacks that used to enjoy this movie because it was speaking for them. The white community all over, because platforms have been created now, whether they like it or not, other people are beginning to copy what it is that we're doing here in Nigeria. It is my belief that more is achievable because the foundation of medicine has not only been laid, the full structure has been built, which the better of us is to maintain the structures as we have inherited them. We are at liberty now. We need to rework, we need to renovate, we need to meet contemporary demands. In all areas, like now, we are setting up a company, we call it Enter Medicine. From on the 9th of February, I'm going to be entering a movie set. Worth over 200 million here in Benin. I'm free the practitioners. Okay, now we are going to need medical practitioners on set. So I call the doctor of myself, get your team together. We are going to have a mini ambulance on set because there is a war involved and whatever thing can happen and all of that. So I gave my medical practitioner friend. I said, I don't think in this direction. Oh, the graduate I'm a medical doctor. It ends there. So you need to be able to apply. Even in areas. There was one analyst from TV this morning arguing that his products are more proficient than the orthodox whatever they insulate. The man and the presenter, they were arguing, and the man is there. They have the way with the storm. You can know whether the alkaline level, whether the toxic level, or whatever there. That whether a period of doctor we're talking about today's world PhD. And he said it's not cure for it. That you guys say, oh, you have to you maintain. A lot of us want to take 5 years, 20 years ago, they say, hey, go and check your blood pressure. Or the it has no cure, but they don't have cure. You just be managing it. So I feel that we can't begin to track the persistence. We can begin to track the passion, which will help us to begin to create new stuff, new things from this family, so that you don't just end up as one other medical doctor. God bless you. Thank you.
Very low, too low for him. Let's do it louder one. Let's give him another round of applause. When the light went off, of course, as a great actor, his voice needed the mic. And he actually used the voice to pass his message to us. Still on passion. Passion in everything. We don't have all the time to try to summarize some of the things he has said. But one of the last things he said is about the partnership between, which I just gave about private and special doctors. As a matter of fact, I've actually asked myself, you know, I've tried to watch some things, I've seen some guys coming as the doctors, and they want to share force, they will be touching the patient's ear. Oh, wow. Maybe 4 doctors come from Nigeria. So we can actually partner ourselves. As you see here, so at the art, even as a doctor. So you can imagine if you give me a role as a medical doctor to come and examine a patient or emergency condition, not only to stand by as emergency team for anybody that will fall sick or anything. We can collaborate. There are doctors that can really act. No, as a matter of fact, Delta Broadcasting, we had a comedy group. I was a very good actor. No, comedy makers. You can ask Tunde Omode, Terry Maxim. He was the coordinator of this program. And there was this comedy group. So, there are other doctors too that they can be incorporated. So when it comes to a medical role, it can be well played and make it as real as it should be. But say check pause. There's a touch person here. And so, Ambassador, I think Nollywood and NNA, Nigerian Medical Association, can actually partner in terms of actually acting, just for us to really identify those that actually have interest. You heard what Prof said. Actually, if not for his passion for medicine, he too could have been a very good historian or another great actor. So, by the grace of God, that will come to pass in Jesus' name. Without wasting time, our guest speaker, one of them will be leaving very soon, and so we'd like to bring in on stage to come and to the platform to come and talk to us. But before I introduce him, let's also introduce another neurosurgeon all the way from UK. He has been here for the past 45 minutes. Courtesy Ashanti Grant Health and Education Initiative Foundation and courtesy Big Brother Dr. Okpere. So ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for Dr. Andrew. Sorry, I'm not speaking now. We'll just say hello to the great student of the University of Benin Medical School.
Hello everyone. Greatest websites. Come on, you guys, come on, give me some vibe or something. Greatest websites. That's a bit like it. Good to see you guys. Hopefully we get to talk again sometime.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, man. Now you don't tell me about it. Yeah. So that's good. Thank you very much. So let's invite this very humble doctor, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Olubanjo. Please let's give him a round of applause. Give him a round of applause.
Ambassador Lancelot Imasuen came all the way from Scotland to give us a talk today. So what was the topic about?
No, we're talking about what's it going striving against odds, the Nollywood story. I'm trying to amalgamate that with medical practice, and it's good for the young ones to begin to not lock themselves up in the hole and thinking that, oh, it's only from here. We can look at medicine from different perspectives.
So what was in summary, what are the challenges you faced in Nollywood as it was growing up from its birth stage?
You're doing stuff that nobody believes in, and trying to prove a point that you know what you're doing, and how to put up all the creativity that you can muster to be able to achieve what you want to achieve, until now that, oh, everybody's talking about it, getting recognition world over. Yeah.
So I mean, when you were giving your talk, you mentioned about Nigeria as a whole that were able to, as in, not support to an extent what you really wanted. But so even in the medical field, in the medical sector, we have such problems too. I mean, Nigeria, yeah, they've done some, they've not done some. But so what really do you think Nigeria could do to improve the health sector?
There's a change of leadership. In Nigeria, we have to change our leadership so that we look at people that will have the right thinking. And the management is the biggest issue with Nigeria. One that is put right, then we're good to go. They need to holistically look at things, lock down corruption. One that, because I believe money is voted for a lot of these things that are actually needed, but some person just pocket them along the line. There's no punitive measures for them, so it persists. So we're hoping that the right government will get in place, go with the right mind, right managerial skills to make sure that every aspect of the country is moving.
So that's very good. So the last question, so what's your integrity advice for the generation next?
Like I said, you see, medicine can function in a lot of other places. Gone are the days where people are just satisfied with I'm a medical doctor, like the professor said, it's a thing of pride to say I'm a doctor. But we've gone past all that now. There's pride in everything now. Yes. So how the next generation should be able to look at other sectors, like in the movie, like I said, nobody has thought about, hey, we can actually create medicine for the entertainers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We could create medicine for sports.
Yes, sir.
We could glamorize it a little.
Yes, sir.
And disease from this lukewarm attitude by a lot of medical practitioners, by the students and others. They are just wasting their time. They are the real stuff. So you should be able to create an enabling environment for that marriage, for people to appreciate them, because people are huge in their various respects. So you are called up to me, medical doctor. That's what you are. I'm an artist. Oh, a very great one for that matter. So that's the way it is. So they must be able to cement that matter and not create that dichotomy, create that superiority complex that is actually the bane of a lot of medical practitioners looking down on others and think that they are the best people that got created.
Thank you very much, sir, for your time. God bless you, sir. Very welcome, sir.
Where you do 2 years of general medicine, and then after that you reapply to get a further job in terms of specific area of medicine. Next slide, please. And again,
And this is exactly so your foundation training, your foundation program is 2 years. First year you have to do general surgery, 6 months, general medicine, 6 months. So you have the basics. Your second year, you can now say, for example, if you want to be a surgeon, do more surgically based specialties. If you want to be a medic, do more medically based specialties. And then once you've done that, next slide. And sorry, this slide is a website. If any of you are interested in further disease, this website is very useful in terms of giving information for the foundation program. Essentially, what the foundation program is to do is to base your medical education in university and try to build on that foundation. Next slide, please. Or can we go back? Does everyone want to copy the website down? See some people with their pens. Let me just go back one slide, please. Thank you. Okay. And we'll go to the next slide. And the next slide on the slide. The specialist, so once you've done the 2-year foundation program, you go into the specialist training. And as I mentioned, specialist training is where you go on to specialize in whatever you want to do. If you want to be a surgeon, you can specialize in surgery. If you want to be a medic, you can specialize in that. If you want to be a GP, you can specialize. You have the background, you have the foundation for everything. You've done a bit of general surgery, you've done a bit of general medicine, and now you want to focus on your career. The specialist training is everything that the GMC recognizes standards. The GMC is the General Medical Council in the UK, and they run everything that we do. We pay them money every year for our license, and they're supposed to set these standards and rules. They're invisible, you never see them, they're working somewhere. They set standards for your curriculum, as in what your specialty training is going to do. They set standards for the delivery of your training, how you're going to get this curriculum delivered. And they set standards for the assessment, how you're assessed every year. As I mentioned earlier, there's 2 ways you can go to the specialist training. You can go through a run-through training. Now, neurosurgery is a run-through training. So after you've done your first 2 foundation year programs, you go straight into run-through neurosurgery. That means when I applied, I did the first 2 years, and then I went into neurosurgery specialist training, which means I'm guaranteed a job every year. Every year, as long as I pass, I fulfill the criteria for next year, I will move up a level. And it's for 8 years. I'll finish a specialist training year 8. I'm a specialist training year 3 at the moment, so I'm coming to halfway through that. The other type of specialist training you can get is what we call uncoupled specialist training. And essentially what that involves is, you've done your foundation year, then you now come and you do 2 years of more specific medicine. So you do 2 years of cardiology, 2 years of respiratory medicine, 2 years that involves a little bit of cardiology, a little bit of respiratory, a little bit of geriatrics. And then after you've done that, you now reapply for higher specialty training. You just go to the next slide. And then you can just see it's just around there, so you can then refer to higher specialty training where you've done 2 years, you've done general medicine, you've done all of it, and then after that, now you specialize in only cardiology for the rest of your training, and at the end of that, you become a cardiologist. So you specialize and you end up being a cardiologist. So you do the next 5 years in respiratory medicine, or the next 5 years in just A&E, and at the end of it, you become an A consultant, respiratory consultant, and whatnot. Next slide, please. Anyway, this is another website in terms of specialty training, anybody's interested, and it has all the information you need regarding getting specialty training in the UK and how to apply. At the end of specialty training, they give you what we call the CCT, and it's a certificate for completion of training. What this means is, what is your gap with the boss? You're a consultant, you have all the skills and capabilities of being the boss, and you now want to apply for a job wherever you can get a job, wherever there is a job. But you're a consultant, neurosurgeon, you're a consultant, geriatrician, you're a consultant, respiratory physician, you're a consultant, plastic surgeon, whatever you want to do, you've gone through the training program. Next slide, please. I'll go into a bit of the selection process, how we're selected to get this. It's a very rigorous, but I think a very fair system of selection. It's all point-based. There is no case of you know Mr. So-and-so or your cousin to Mr. So-and-so. Nobody cares who you know. It's about filling an application form. Most of the application forms online. And it's a point-based application form. They ask you questions about your CV, what research you've done, what extracurricular activities you've done. They ask you why are you good for this job, why are you great at this job, and everything's in place. Now the important thing about the selection process is transparent. They offer you what we call a person specification, what they are looking for in you. This is all online, it's published, so you can go online and say, well, this should make your interview towards fulfilling the criteria. And it's all point-based. For example, in the interview, you get two people, and they're independently marking you. Okay? These guys don't know each other. You know, one guy works in Spring, another guy in State. They don't know each other. They independently mark you, and they collate their scores together, and they score you, and you get a competence score, a total score. And that's how you get selected. So it doesn't matter who you know, it's a very fair system. The foundation here is the selection process is usually dependent on your medical school. So your medical school, you've gone through different hospitals, you've done rotations, and within those hospitals, you apply for jobs within those hospitals. The specialist training years is usually either within a deanery. Now a deanery is essentially like a state. Okay, so you'll have the Lagos State deanery, or you have the Lagos State deanery, and so you can apply within the deanery, or like neurosurgery, it's a national selection process. So every year, neurosurgical trainees, or people who want to be neurosurgical trainees, apply to a national central-based system. And you're applying to it all online, and if you score high enough, you come for an interview, which happens to be based in Sheffield. And there's everybody from all over the country, from Scotland, from London, from Wales, everybody comes to Sheffield for a process bar, and you apply for about 19 jobs. Next slide, please. I put a quick bit on this on overseas candidates and what you might need to apply if you're interested. So you need a GMT registration to apply for a job in the UK, wherever you're from. Now you need also, to get a GMT registration, a primary qualification awarded by an institution listed on the Avicenna Directory for Medicine. So these are the institutions on the Avicenna Directory. Next slide, please. Now, I spent hours looking on the Avicenna Directory, and I could not find University of Benin. It really worried me because Douglas works in the UK. And I don't know how he got it. I don't know how he got the GMT registration if the University of Benin is not on there. Next slide, please. Of course it's on there. I've come into the book, this is a great university, and the University of Benin is of course an independent directory. Next slide, please. The other thing that the university has to fulfill, at least 5,500 hours of study over a 3-year course, and you also have to essentially pass the class examination. Next slide, please. So that's about the selection process. Now about being trained and what it actually means. You know, they select you, you've got the job, yes, I'm going to be a neurosurgeon, thank God. How do they train us? Next slide. I've always believed that medicine is an apprenticeship. Okay? Back in the old days, that's how it was done. You applied to be a doctor, you got the job, and there was some old guy who was a great surgeon or a great doctor, and he taught you his craft. He taught you how to do it. You went to see him, he was your teacher, he was your supporter, he took you through it all. And I think medical school, and when we qualify as an extension, it's basically that way. Our teachers we are apprentices to our teachers in hospitals. And essentially, in any hospital, in any country, wherever you are, you have to learn how to be a doctor on the job. There was no book you read. There's William Osler, a Canadian doctor, who said that his quote was that learning medicine without books is very difficult because you get completely lost. He said, learning medicine only with books. Okay, actually I heard it. He said, learning medicine without books is like sailing an uncharted sea. You're going across the sea, you don't know where you are. Okay? He said, learning medicine with only books and not patients is like never going to sea at all. Okay? Doesn't matter how many books you read, you have to learn on the job. Okay? And for the medical students at the moment, you can read all the books you want, but if you're not going to your rotations, if you're not seeing patients, okay, it's pointless. You know, there's no secret in medicine. You have to see patients. And so that's how I think we're really trained and learn the job. Now, I think what your university prepares you for, this is the case in any country, is how to learn, okay, how to teach yourself. You're not here to spoon-fed information, but you say, this is how you become a doctor. This is the medicine you need to give so-and-so has lesion A. You need to learn in university how to teach yourself, where you get the information from. Okay? And that's what you should learn in university. You need to learn how to be self-directed. Okay? You also need to learn how to self-assess, how to be self-assessed. You need to learn what are you good at, what are your faults, okay? And how can you improve them? Okay? You need to be your own judge, your own critic, so that you can move forward. Because your teachers will do that. You need to error competition. Now, your teachers, your leaders, they have laid down the foundations. Okay? You can follow in a path well traveled. Okay? But if at some point there's an issue, there's a problem, you mustn't just follow in that direction. You are the people who make the change. You must be proud, you must be prepared to stand up and break down everything that has been done that you think is wrong, because you want to do the best for future generations. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Farouk Oduware. Anyone in the came in and you're like, let the last introducing and say, Mr. Dr. Mr. But I think after this presentation, I understand why. UK, no kind of doctors. And they think they are all. So now I understand why they address yourself as Mr. All the same, thank you, Dr. Farouk Oduware Imasuen. Wonderful presentation, very detailed. He tried as much as possible to pass the information very well with a lot of passion. The work today is passion. So, ladies and gentlemen, he spoke to us on postgraduate health professional training overseas. They believe overview of possibilities of the Nigerian health system. Before we call on Dr. Andrew Alalade to make his own presentation, please, I know part of the refreshment have been said. Trust Nigerians now. After refreshment, people find their way. But I don't tell them they only need 5 minutes. The relatives are really right. They need to the next lecture, they will make the next 5. And because we don't have these students into here before. And I've seen those last cultures too. But right here with us, we have a woman. We all know that today is World Epilepsy Day. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give Mrs. Oduware a round of applause, the mother of the last presenter. Thank you very much, ma'am, for your support. We appreciate you. Thank you. Safe journey, safe trip, safe flying.
Good enough. Today is World Purple Day. Purple Day, you are all aware what it is. Purple Day is a day when awareness is being given to the disease epilepsy all over the world. People talk about epilepsy, people are encouraged to come out in purple. You can say I'm wearing purple, my secretary is wearing purple, my son is wearing purple, my cameraman is wearing, they are all wearing, my manager is on purple. We've been in town, we had a great rally today in town. We moved around in purple, Catholic men joined us, non-Catholics alike, we were all there. We did what people want us to do today, to identify the people living with epilepsy. As medical students too, I'm very happy that people are here today and your medical week starts today and it coincides with the Purple Day celebration. And because I create awareness on the causes and dangers of epilepsy, I'm happy to be invited to this gathering today, this forum today, where I will see you and interact with people. And I'm very happy standing here because my awareness motto is that people should go to the hospital for treatment. That epilepsy does not have cure in the world. That even if you are from Ijebu or outside land, or wherever you think you are from, you will not find or have cure to epilepsy. The only place we have cure for epilepsy is in the hospital. So I'm happy that I am here, seeing you looking at me, and knowing that there is a woman in this city that creates awareness on the causes and the dangers of epilepsy, and you tell the world that there is no cure to epilepsy anywhere outside the hospital. And today, he mentioned passion, and passion is the world. What drove me into this foundation is passion. Because I have come to realize that epilepsy is a disease people are not aware of. I use the word it's still in the shadows. It is not out of the shadows. People don't know what it is. Somebody falls on the road, even you medical students, we even run away. Because people don't even believe in the practical form that epilepsy is not contagious. And we want to put this thing across to everybody, whether here or outside this place, that they should know and be able to help people living with epilepsy. We send out flyers all over the places, letting people know what to do when someone is having a seizure. There are so many ways we can help these people, because many of them, they want to go to school, they are not in schools. And many of you here are neighbors and even relatives to people living with epilepsy. What have you done as a medical student? You have at the beginning know that epilepsy is a treatable brain disorder. What have you done to help people living with epilepsy that want to bounce and go around like you and I? These people are living a life of loneliness. They are alone in their world. There's nobody helping them. There's nobody taking care of them. They need you and I to come to their aid. What have we done? I'm here today to solicit your partnership. In two ways. One, I want each and every one of you to call me when there's any community or any place, any rural area where women need to be enlightened about the causes and dangers of epilepsy. What are the causes of epilepsy? Women in the villages, in remote areas, they need to know all these things. So wherever you go, as I'm talking to you now, I know that we have representatives from all news and family of this country. If you go back to your village and there's need for us to have a seminar there, because I create awareness, I do seminars, I do talk. Call on me, we go there, we enlighten these people, so that we don't have a future children in the future living with epilepsy. Because I say my vision statement is eradicating epilepsy today. If we must eradicate epilepsy today, what do? We create awareness. We let people know what it is not to have epilepsy. We let people know what to do when there are early signs in children. And as I talk to you now, I thank you again, and I want to say thank you again because you have given me the opportunity to come and talk to you, and I know that after today, you will not only be in class to do the work, you will also be outside to do the work that God has asked us to do be good to humanity, to do the work of, to do the humanitarian job God has also asked you to do, because that was the main reason He has called you to be a medical student. I thank you very much for allowing me to talk to you today. Thank you very much.
Give me a round of applause. Thank you very much. Mama, thank you very much for brought in your passion to increase our passion for epilepsy. Today, passion will finish the passion for knowledge of postgraduate. We don't collect passion for Nollywood. We don't collect passion to the NC. We don't collect passion for epilepsy. More passion is coming, ladies and gentlemen. So finally, we can't introduce the next speaker. We want to apologize to us. Our chairman is temporarily away. He's going to come back and join us here, perhaps before the end of the next session. Ladies and gentlemen, another UK friend, another Dr. Professor. Let's welcome. He's going to talk to us about this postgraduate health professional training. Let's welcome Andrew Alalabe. Just snap this. Thank you.
Okay, so last talk for today, and I'll be very I'll come down to be very good. I'm going to talk about the postgraduate health opportunities, and I want to indulge you to listen very attentive. And the reason why is because I'm standing in front of you today, not because I'm better than you, but only because I was born for a few years or a couple of months, And I want to tell you that no matter what, the sky should not be the limit. You should always aim higher than that. Okay? I'm going to start with a couple of examples. The light bulb moments I've had in my life, and I've had a couple. The first light bulb moment I probably had was sometime in the science class when I was about 12, 13. And I went to a secondary school in the north, in Zaria, Nigerian military school. And I remember in science class, they talked about the brain and spinal cord, and I was really fascinated, and I decided I was going to be a neurosurgeon. And it was pretty much a dream. And for years afterwards, I've had, this really went. My mom used to come into my bedroom and make fun of me because I used to have pictures of, surgeons on the wall. And other blokes probably have pictures of girls on the wall. I used to have doctors and surgeons, on my bedroom wall. And I kind of, persisted with it. Now, initially, I wasn't going to go out of, Nigeria to do my postgraduate training. But then two things happened. The first one was there was a consultant who I really looked up to. I went to the University of Ibadan, by the way. And there was a consultant who I really respected, Professor Thomas, histopathology. And around my 4th year, we had to go to the States, and she had to go and start all over again. Now, that got me worried because, mentorship, if you look up to senior colleagues, the whole thing is to be better than them. Yeah? The whole dream is to be better than any senior colleague. And that's what I'll tell you to do. Because come a couple of years from now, you have to be better than me. And she left. Okay? And I got a bit discouraged. I was like, why did she? And then I went to visit a friend of mine in school. He was now a naval officer. Because he went to NDA from NMS. And went to the NMS, the naval base in Lagos. And he took me on the ships. And he took me to the first ship. Took me around, upper deck, lower deck, second ship, third ship. And the third ship was really cool. Like, really new, was well published, everything was, clean. And I asked him, I said, wow, the Nigerian Navy has a lot of money. And he was like, why do you say so? Why do you say that? And I was like, yeah, because, that ship, was about TV sending. And he laughed, he really laughed. And guess what he said? He said, that ship, the US gave us last year, and they used it for the Second World War. And I was like, what? Second World War. Now I'm someone who's really good with my politics and current affairs, and I know that the Second World War took place between 1939 and 1945. So it's ridiculous. The best ship that I saw was the Second World War. So I went back and I said, you know what? I really want to help people. I really want to be able to take out issues. I really want to do things. But if that's the specialty I want to do and specialize in, then maybe think back is not the best one. Okay, so go to the next slide. So that's basically my story. So I went from there to UCH. I did a year of house job at UCH as well. And then I went on to the UK, did a couple of jobs. Fortunately, they're really competitive. There were only 9% in the country when I got my registered job. And I got one of those. And I think I was really lucky and really blessed. Since then, I've done a number of councils. I've been, I'm currently an executive of British Surgical Training Association. And I'm also an executive council of the ASSET. It's a body, umbrella body for all surgical registrars in the UK. And I have only come in this morning because of this meeting. Because of you guys and because of Douglas as well. Now I told you that, and I'm hoping that in a couple of years I'm going to see people, here, in different positions. And I'm not saying it because it's just cliches. I'm really not saying it because of that. I'm saying it because I really want to. Now, what do you want to do? You have to start really and make up your mind. What do you want to do? And it doesn't really have to be clinical. It doesn't even have to be, sort. It doesn't have to be medicine. But you have to think of something. How am I going to impact the generation? How am I going to impact, the people that what do you want to do? Go on, next slide, please. Now, there are two things I'm going to tell you about. Actually, one of my friends, I've got one of my friends in the States. Okay, so I actually wrote something down. This one was like, what? When we were in medical school, we had nobody to tell us about it. So I just write it in the book. So I wrote like a small book. I handed it to the guys out. The people more cost me about £3 to make each of them. So I'll just, clean it up for about 150, and I think that's okay. That's one I'll just tell you what this is all about. Now, they want to overhaul the Nigerian medical curriculum. The oldest university in Nigeria, the oldest medical school, is the University of Ibadan, the University of Hospital. And it was set in 1948. At the time, there were 6-7 university college hospitals. Patterned after UCL, the University College in London. And they had the same curriculum. Now, what happens when you want to set up a medical, you have to get a curriculum proposal and submit it. We're all lazy human beings. You choose to eat out. So what every other school, every other medical school has done in Nigeria is to just get the curriculum from UCH and pattern it, and offer it and submit it. And so it just means that across the of Nigeria, all medical schools are basing the student teaching on a 1948 curriculum. So we're pretty much doing the same thing in Nigeria.